Custom presets are one of the most underrated tools on LUMIX cameras. Once they're set up properly, you stop thinking about the camera and you can focus on taking pictures. I'm going to show you how I've set up 2 custom presets that I use on my LUMIX cameras for photography and how I decide which one to use. If you're using an S1II or S1RII and want practical ideas for building custom presets that speed up your workflow, this should be useful. For this demo, I'm using my S1RII, but the setup is the same on my S1II. Let's start with the top dials on the camera. On the left-hand side, the top dial controls the drive modes. I leave it in single shot most of the time and switch to burst modes when I need to. The switch underneath lets me move between photo, video and S&Q modes. Custom presets are tied to the mode you're in, so when I'm shooting in photo mode, I'm accessing and saving photo presets only. The next dial is the mode dial. This is where I switch between the shooting modes: program, aperture priority, shutter priority, or manual. And it's also where I access my custom presets. I keep mine on C1 and C2, and my husband uses C4 and C5 when he shoots with me. For exposure, I manually control shutter speed and aperture with auto ISO as my starting point. This lets me control motion and depth of field while still reacting quickly if the light changes. If I need more control, I'll adjust ISO manually. I control shutter speed with the rear control dial and aperture with the front dial. I'm constantly adjusting both based on movement, available light, and depth of field. The ISO button works as intended, but I've assigned the top record button to auto ISO. That lets me adjust ISO with the front dial when I need to, then jump straight back to auto ISO without taking my eye away from the viewfinder. My ISO range is set from 100 up to 12,800, but I try to stay below 6,400 unless I'm in really low light. I've disabled the front record button in my photo setup as I don't use it. Instead, I've assigned the small front button next to the grip to AE lock, so I can quickly lock exposure when needed. When I switch to my C1 preset, you'll see that I've set my base aperture to f6.3. I've picked this as a good middle ground so I can quickly open up or stop down, depending on the situation. I've also set my base shutter speed to 1/250th and I adjust from there. For metering, I use center weighted. I'm often shooting subjects in front of bright backgrounds or windows or white walls. The camera still measures the whole frame, but it prioritizes exposure towards the center, which works well for my subjects. For white balance, I use auto white balance. The environments I work in often have mixed lighting, LEDs, fluorescent lighting, and daylight from windows, and it can change room to room or even within the same space. Locking white balance usually creates more problems than it solves, so auto white balance gives me consistent usable results without slowing me down. Moving to the back of the camera, I keep autofocus set to C, which is continuous. I use back button autofocus, so autofocus is assigned to the AF on button and removed from the shutter. Holding AF on activates continuous tracking, and the shutter button just takes the photo. This lets me decide when autofocus is active instead of engaging every time I half press the shutter. On the back dial, each of the directional buttons has a function assigned. The right button lets me change autofocus area modes. The 2 I use the most are full area and 1 area plus. Subject detection works alongside the AF area mode, so I'm choosing both as I shoot. When I'm in the AF mode menu, pressing up toggles the current subject detection on or off. I can also access this via the AF mode button, but it's further out of reach, so having it on the back dial is much quicker. Left switches between subject detection modes. I mainly switch between human eye, face and body and eye and face detection. Eye and face detection is great when it locks, but when kids are moving or looking down, eye, face and body detection can be more reliable. The down button activates hybrid zoom when I need a bit of extra reach, and pressing up outside of the AF mode menu brings up the focus area, so I can quickly resize the focus box using the back dial. Having all of these features mapped to the back dial means I can react quickly without missing moments. By default, LUMIX places the playback button on the left-hand side of the camera, which I personally find awkward to reach, especially when I'm supporting a larger lens like the 70-200. That's why I've assigned the delete button to playback instead. It sits right under my thumb, which makes reviewing images quick and natural without shifting my grip. I never delete images while I'm shooting, but if I do need to, I can press the delete button in playback mode to bring up the delete menu. To exit the playback and delete modes, I just half press the shutter and continue shooting. Up to this point, everything I've shown you applies to both presets. My main preset uses mechanical shutter, and I also keep a second preset set to electronic shutter, so I can switch into silent mode when I need to, particularly in school environments. In quieter moments like lessons or more serious assemblies, noise is a consideration. Even something as small as a shutter sound can be distracting, so I'll make a judgment in the moment about whether switching to electronic shutter is more appropriate. One of the trade-offs with electronic shutter indoors is banding. Under certain artificial lights, you can sometimes see darker or lighter stripes across the image because the camera is scanning the scene while the lights are flickering. It's not a fault with the camera, it's simply how electronic shutters and artificial lighting interact. If I see banding and I need to stay silent, I'll try using SynchroScan. It doesn't fix every situation, but in some environments, particularly under LED lighting, it can help reduce it. Typically I won't use SynchroScan. I'll switch back to mechanical shutter and be more selective with the shots I'm taking, but it's there if I have to shoot silently. The burst modes behave differently depending on whether I'm using mechanical or electronic shutter, and the camera handles that automatically based on the shutter type. Now that I've explained how the shutter behaves in each preset, this is where the quick menu comes in. I'm not using the quick menu to make constant adjustments, it's mainly there as a sanity check before and during a shoot. The only thing I might need quick access to here is SynchroScan when I'm using electronic shutter. Everything else is about confirming the camera is set up the way I expect. I use it to check things like shutter type and shutter sound, so I know I'm using electronic shutter and I'm fully silent. I also keep SynchroScan, metering mode, grids, photo style and image stabilization in there, which lets me confirm everything at a glance without diving into menus. I shoot with the rule of thirds grid enabled. It's not something I actively think about, but it's a helpful visual reference for composition while I'm shooting. In-body image stabilization stays on for me. Having it in the quick menu lets me confirm it's behaving as expected, especially when switching lenses. For both presets, I'm shooting RAW and JPEG together, with the dual card slot set up for backup recording for redundancy. Once I'm happy with how my camera is set up, I save the settings as a custom preset. I do this from the Settings menu, choosing Save to Custom Mode Photo. From there, I select which custom preset I want to save it to, and I can access it later using the mode dial on top of the camera. I also name my presets from the same place. Under Custom Mode Settings, you can use Edit Title to rename each preset. Once the presets are saved, I copy them over to my second camera. I format a memory card in the camera. Then in the Settings menu, I select Save Restore Camera Setting. I choose Save, select the card slot and save it as a new file. I rename those files using my initials followed by the month and year, for example ABJan26, and I also copy them to my computer as a backup. I'm constantly tweaking presets over time, so having older versions saved makes it easy to go back to an earlier setup if I need to. Hopefully this gives you a few ideas for building your own custom presets, and if you want to see the cameras, lenses and accessories I'm using, I've got a separate LUMIX photography kit video. I'll put it on the screen for you now.